Hello and welcome to the next in our series of cyber attack remediation and mitigation use case videos. In this edition, we'll be looking at a use case which involves Bit9, FireEye and Logarithm. Let's look at our use case scenario. A user acquires a file, mudwrestling.dll, most likely by clicking a link in an email or by a drive-by download. It's unknown to the antivirus tool and at this stage also to the Bit9 endpoint agent. Having seen an executable file it's not seen before, the Bit9 agent reports the file to the Bit9 server. This detects it's a new file that it's not seen before on the network anywhere and reports it to the Logarithm appliance. The Bit9 server is configured to send any file it doesn't recognize to the FireEye appliance. The FireEye appliance executes the file in its multi-vector virtual execution engine and analyzes the behavior. Over a period of time, approximately 4 minutes, it determines that the file is malicious and reports this and the callback events to the Logarithm appliance. Having seen the combination of events, a new file found on the network, and that file being declared as malicious by FireEye, the Logarithm appliance declares an alarm event, and the alarm event is associated with a smart response, a remediation activity. Our example smart response script contacts the offending machine and shuts it down. In parallel, the FireEye appliance has also reported the malicious file to the Bit9 server. The Bit9 server adds this file to the list of banned executable files across the entire network. No Bit9 agent will allow that file to run anymore. This stops lateral spread of the malicious file across our estate. Let's look at that in action on one of our PCs. We'll use a browser to connect to our internal website where we have malware stored, and we'll use this to simulate the effect of clicking on a link in an email or a situation where a user is fooled into going to a malicious website. In our example, we'll use mudwrestling.dll that was created using Metasploit. Once the Bit9 agent sees the file, it will compare the file against its list of acceptable executable files. In our example, the file doesn't exist in the whitelist, the list of files that are allowed to execute, or the blacklist, the list of files that are specifically not allowed to execute. And as a result, the agent sends the executable file to the Bit9 server. The Bit9 server, having confirmed it's not a known file, sends it to the FireEye device. In parallel, the Bit9 server logs the newfound file with the Logarithm SIEM server. Here in the Logarithm tail, we can see the detail that would be required if we were to investigate further. But nobody's looking at this screen just yet. Meanwhile, in the background, the FireEye appliance has detonated the file in the multi-vector virtual execution engine and, as we'll see in a second, has found it to show malicious activity. As well as telling the Bit9 server, the FireEye appliance also logs it to Logarithm. Here we see it in the tail. So having the two events, a new file found on the network, followed by FireEye announcing that file as being malicious, we have sufficient cause to raise an alarm and a smart response as part of remediation, our immediate action drill. So here on the single pane of glass, the Logarithm alarm window, we see an alarm has appeared. In this example, our smart response has an approve deny option which requires a member of our security management team to approve or deny the action. In this case, the smart response has been approved and the smart response will be carried out. So let's look at this from the user's perspective. Back on their PC, Logarithm has made contact and is applying a shell script, in this case PowerShell, and the script is shutting down the device. We could have applied additional messages as required. In most cases, shutting down the device is not the right thing to do. We've done this just as an example. Ideally, you want the machine kept alive so that we can keep the forensic information for further detailed analysis as part of the post-attack recovery. But there we have it. The incident is contained, allowing us to keep calm and carry on.